all the way from Mumbai, so we're thrilled to have you here in Los Angeles to talk about this incredible film. Firstly, I'd love to ask about your inspiration for how you approach this, of creating this model. Clearly, the nature of the story, there isn't archival video that you could work with by any means, any news footage, anything like that.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. For me, it was first how we can recreate and restore the memory without having any concrete or visual proofs of what has happened. So I start this film with nothing, with missing things. So I shoot to create my own archive during all these years, 7 or 8 years, and then use this archive in the last footage that I call the laboratory, the atelier, when I recreate everything with my father. Because I should not stop and not doing this film only because I have no footage or I have nothing to do as material. So I should to create something, this positive filmic, to talk freely about the past, to bring all my family in this place and to tell them, okay, now we will build everything. The walls have no ears. Let's just talk about the past, and then we will destroy everything, and maybe it's gonna be the therapy for everyone.
Your previous film, The Postcard, was also very much a family story. So I think your parents were familiar, let's say, with the idea that you might approach them about making a very personal story. But how did your parents respond to the idea, and how did your grandmother respond?
Yeah, it's a huge question. How I convinced my grandmother to come in the film. She don't like pictures. She was forbidden pictures in the house for years. She can come with me in Cannes and present her film and be in theater for the first time in her life to watch her own story. So that was the deal for me. I told her one day, I came to her, I said, my grandmother, if you are not able to make this film with me, I will take a actress, Moroccan actress, she will make the film. She will tell your story. So I tried to show her three Moroccan actresses, and then after one day she called me, she said, you tell me that this woman gonna be me in your story? She will tell my own story. I said, yes, my grandmother, because I have no choice. I should to make the film. I have a lot of, I got money to make this film. It was, so she said, she cannot do it. I said, okay, that's great, you can do it. She said, of course, this is my story. So I said, yes, please come. She said, I will follow you to Marrakesh to make this film, but I'm not guaranteed that I will stay. It depends. So it wasn't so much pressure for me because I want her to stay at the end. So it was a lot of problems behind the scene, but I tried to catch the behind the scene. What we see here, it's not when I told them, let's go, we are making now the film. No, this was what I could catch and shoot behind the scene.
So maybe she didn't quite realize in a way that, she's being recorded in a sense all the time, at least behind the scenes.
No. When what I did, I tried to ask the same question that I was asking 7 years ago. Then they are clever. They know that this question we talked about that in the house, so they just trying to answer. Sometimes they said the same thing. Sometimes they go explaining more and more. And for me, was the best time when they finished playing themselves. And they said, okay, next time when you will ask me, maybe I will tell you more about. And then I watch my. I talked with my DOP just with eyes and said, this is the moment, go for it. So yeah, this was like I was the only one with my DOP who understand a little bit what we are doing in this atelier laboratory, but we discover every day it's a new day. I have no script, I have nothing, just this board that we saw in the picture, and all these references and these colors. And then we go, let's go. Sometimes 1 week, 2 weeks, there is nothing.
the significance of the one photo that your grandmother did allow, which is the King Hassan II, he is basically responsible for the violent and brutal suppression of the bread uprising, the bread riot. So the fact that your grandmother kind of worships this photo, this is very significant. Can you talk about her feelings for Hassan too, and why that would be naturally really upsetting to many people who went through the riot and saw their family members and friends killed?
I think that until now, everybody from the generation of my grandmother just keep this picture of Hassan II in the house because for them it's the idol. Because for her, I mean, today I am talking about three generations in this film. The generation of my grandmother who just said shh, and nobody can talk about the past, about politics, about everything. And there is the generation of my parents who just like watching and no saying anything. And my generation who come here just to say there is a kind of reconciliation with the past. Today, there is some freedom to talk about our past. I mean, it's only our own stories in this film. It will be really crazy that we talk about our own stories and somebody else will be upset. It's very intimate and that's why I did this positive filming, because I was not looking for guilty people or denouncing anyone. But my reason was just like how we can restore this memory. We need my generation. I'm coming from the 90s, so I need to know what happened just to pass to make these other films about the future. Nobody can come just like that and start to make films about the present without knowing what was the memory. We have this problem with memory. We have no lot of archive. A lot of archive of except l'archive contemporaine.
Contemporary
Yeah.
archive.
A lot of archive are in France, for example. So in Morocco, I was looking for just showing, watching archive. My identity is Morocco. So I wanted to watch what happens. I didn't find anything, so this is the time to create my own archive. And maybe the next generation to understand what happened in 1981 will watch The Mother of All Lies as a document.
Yes, exactly. The creation of the set, I mean, it's just such a remarkable thing, and collaborating it on with your father, who's really, he's a mason, but he's a sculptor as well, clearly. That opens up something that is so unusual in documentary. In other words, generally it's why you sit down and you talk about the past, but to have something to look at and to create, this makes an entirely different dynamic, I think.
Yeah, I think that why I choose to work with miniature and with the set, because my father also helped me and was these things we were when I was child, for not going out, for it was really sunny in Morocco, so my father create things for me and my sisters and my brothers to play inside this little set. So just when I want to make this film, and a lot of set I couldn't shoot in the cemetery, it was forbidden, the authorization was not okay. I did everything, but it was not okay, and to have some special permit to shoot them. So I came back just to this idea with my father, and we said how if we create all the set and we bring us to our characters and not taking people, just old people, and going to the set. This was not okay. So for the miniature, as a producer, an independent producer and filmmaker, I have no idea when I will finish this film. I have no lot of money to finish this film. So I was looking for money, for freedom, money and freedom. So just grants. and the grant in documentary was small amount. So for making this film, it took for me a lot of time to create the story, to look for money, to come back to editing. I finished with 5 hour, 500 hours of rushes. I should to edit everything because I cannot pay a studio for 2 years. I create my own, strategy to how I can watch my footage without technical things, because it was 4K and was like no I mean not easy to watch 500 hours of rushes. It was horrible, but I remember I started coloring sequences and put them by earth and have the God eye on my sequences. I start to walk on my sequences and I get one and I start to make like this. No, it doesn't work before going to the technical things because it was impossible. Yeah, I create the miniature because I wanted that this film will be made one day without me, without someone. If we miss someone in this film, we will have the miniature to continue the film. This was the idea, because I had no timeline when I will finish this film. That's why I didn't accept any TV channel, because they told me you will give us the film in 6 months. It was impossible for me.
Yeah. Can you talk about filming it? Specifically moving the camera through the model. Like I don't know a lot about the technical aspects of filmmaking. It made me think of Star Wars, of George Lucas filming the original Star Wars through models and things like that. But how do you do that technically? What sort of camera and that sort of thing are you using?
Yeah. Technically, I was thinking with my DOP how we can shoot this miniature without having the problem that we can have in the big set. So that's why we created for example, every big material, we created the small one for not having the shadow of everything. So I think we created also some lenses. That are like microphone. They can just go through. Yeah, and we it was like 3 months we was waiting for this lens from China and Japan to just give us the. We commanded it. I mean, on a commandé cet objectif.
Yeah, you ordered the lenses to be specifically to be made.
Specifically for the miniature, and we created a small hashimi, small light, all the light that we know in the big size. We create the smallest one because it was we had this problem of shadow of everything, so there was not okay, and we created everything. One day, one person from the government came just to make control in the state, and they saw just a lot of cable, and they said that you are making a bomb or.
Misinterpretation there. And one thing that in seeing the film again, I saw it initially in Cannes, where you won 2 awards, as you may know, the L'Oeil d'Or, which is the top prize for documentary, shared with Benagna's film, Les Filles d'Olpha, and you also won the Director's Award from Un Certain Regard. So congratulations.
Thank you.
To you for that. But I noticed on my most recent viewing that there's a kind of the way that you shoot the model of moving the camera so beautifully through it. Then we see you do that with the real humans as well, the way the camera moves around. I love that kind of symmetry that the real people, your parents, Saeed and Abdalla, and of course your grandmother, then almost become set pieces as human beings as well. I'm assuming this was a very intentional way of kind of mirroring that way of moving the camera.
Yeah, I tried to put the set 1 month before before my characters came, because I didn't want to disturb them. When they come here, nobody will be in the set, and that's what happened. I was only me and my DOP inside, and everybody was outside, and we created like we did a lot of things to be in the dark. The last day we opened it, the laboratory, the atelier was like everybody coming from the cave, and that's what I want really to be inside this thing, because it was a kind of therapy. I don't like to talk about therapy, but it was, because now after the film everything changed. The relationship changed. My grandmother can watch the series and was very happy in WC Theatre in Cannes, where everybody was clapped to her, and I was like, that's something happened after the film, and this was very interesting for me, more than making this film. And I forgot this 10 years of exhausting and work. So I think this is the force of documentary, of real stories, if we are talking now about hybrid format. But this is the force, that what can happen after the film.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, I was really curious about that, of the impact on your family. And also in a general sense, it struck me that that with this film you are taking power back. You're taking power back from your grandmother specifically, and your grandmother kind of represents the country and the dictatorship. She's a dictator, basically. And so it's an espèce de coup d'état. It's almost like a coup d'état. Grandma, sorry.
She's the boss, yeah.
She was the boss, but you're kind of overthrowing her.
Yeah, the film was like sit-in or coup d'état.
Yeah, exactly.
Against her, and against her strategy, how she was. She was someone who very tough, but we like her.
Fascinating. She's an unbelievably compelling person, that's for sure. We can open it up to audience questions. Oh, there's a question right there.
Several, but
Thank you.
the person that left, what was his name again?
Abdalla is the man who leaves.
Abdalla?
Yeah, Abdalla was the man who talked the first time for the what happened in the cell.
Right.
So yeah, I just want to make sure. So Saeed, is it Saeed who was in the cell?
No,
and he almost
Abdalla
died?
was in cell.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I think you're referring to Saeed. He's the man
Ma-
who decides, I've had it. I
Yeah.
can't take it anymore. So she's referring to Saeed in her question.
Yeah.
Yeah, he never returned. So
No, sorry.
So the question is, Saeed leaves. He's like, I can't participate in this, and your father's like urging him to stay, but he did not return.
Abdalla who was absent, not Saeed. Sorry, it was Abdalla.
I thought it was Abdullah.
Yeah, Abdalla.
He's the guy that said, I don't care.
But he came back just to tell her his story.
Okay.
I'm lost. I don't know.
Well, I think that I'm confusing things because thank you.
No, I was just I'm Moroccan as well, and I discovered this story through this movie because I'm over 40, and these stories happened when my parents were about their 30s or something, and nobody talks about this kind of events. It's like something that happens. You cannot shoot it. You cannot go to real location and say I'm gonna shoot something about what happened in this time in this period. So it's as she said, it's a therapy for so many of us, because we know the past, we know what happened through those little characters. But it's a very important movie for Morocco to tell this story, because she's right. If you want to check about the archives, you're never gonna find anything. But when you watch the movie, at least there is some elements where you can, know what happened in the past.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm sorry.
I think he never came back, right? The guy that
So
was fed up with it. Two of them left.
Yeah.
One of them came back.
two people leave. Two of the neighbors.
I'm just double checking.
Two leave, and one did not come back. Is it
But he came back for tell the story in the cell.
okay? So that was Abdalla.
That was him?
who-
Oh, okay.
that was him,
Okay.
Because he took a shot.
Yeah, I'm
He
with
changed his
you.
clothes.
We
I
have
got
only
lost.
no. We have only two people, just Saeed and Abdullah. except
Okay.
What
my
made
father.
him come back?
Yeah, he came back just.
What made him come back?
Yeah, what
Why did he
Yeah,
come
in the,
back?
because what happened in the outside, I go to him. I said, you come
Off camera.
Yeah, off camera. I said to him, you came here 3 hours from Casablanca. You are now 1 month here, and for telling this moment what happened to you in the cell, and now she win. She's like the government. She win, and you will come back to Casablanca. Nobody gonna listen you, no, because you didn't tell your story. It's okay. You can go. And then he come, and for editing, for just doing. I'm making a story. It's a film, so I would not tell that what happened in the outside off camera. So he came and he told the story. It was like a kind of telling the story. Yeah.
Thank you. I was kind of fouling that up a little bit
Thank you.
myself, so I'm sorry about that. But now I get it. Yes, sir.
What macro lenses do you use?
What kind of lenses?
Yeah,
Macro
what kind of
lenses.
lens?
Oh, what kind of macro?
We
lens?
have all the all the series that it come with the Alexa from 80, 35.
The macro lens one.
Macro lens. We was c'est quoi là, c'est la
I'm talking
série?
about the brand.
Yeah,
You,
c'est pas
you
Sigma.
mentioned
It's
it's
not
come
Sigma.
from China.
Yeah. No, it's from China was only Rockinan.
Shannon?
Rockinan.
Ah, Rockinan.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
Okay.
was the thing that we create, but
Is it this long one that has this
Yeah,
long,
we had
that
this-
you can put inside
yeah,
the glasses?
exactly.
Yeah, yes, I believe it was used like
Yeah.
that
This one was good for going through, but it was not good for me because it gives I fish eye, and I don't like fish eye because I am telling something the reality. It was for me like publicity. I didn't like it. It was super expensive, but I didn't use it because I thought my DOP it was like no, it was like publicity. It's not what I
TV commercial.
TV commercial. So I didn't use it, but I had all the series that come with the Alexa Sigma and a lot of.
I get it.
Yes, please.
Can you talk a little bit about directing your family? How were you able to strike a balance between getting really authentic performances from them to be honest on camera, and to what extent did you choreograph what they were doing?
The question is about working with her family, in a sense, as actors of working on performance. And do you see it as performance? If I can add that.
Yeah, it was not easy to make a film with people that you meet in the kitchen and in the living room every day. It was super bad for me as an experience. And now the people tell me, it's your grandmother, it's great, you directed very well, so please do another film with her. I said, no, do it with her, not me. Not me, I can't. Because it was time. Time helped me a lot. I was shooting, for example, 2 weeks, and I came back after 1 or 3 months. So it was time who helped me to create this distance with my characters, and the camera also was forgotten in the theater because this camera, the camera scared them in the first week, first year, 2 years, 3 years, and then they forget about it. And this was great. And then also I was creating some strategies, how I put when and where I put my camera and where I place my microphones in the atelier. So technically, I was aware that I love technique. I am editor, so I love technique. That's why directing my family was more in the editing room. I was free with them. I was in and outside in the film because my voiceover, I was writing voiceovers in the atelier sometimes because I have something that I should to write now or it's over. And then I am in the film because you can see me also with them. So it was super hard for me to manage, but finally I was like me with them. I was not the director. I was making sure that I am protecting them with my art because it's very sensitive. Hisham talked about that because he's Moroccan. He knows about what happened, but it was super sensitive to protect my family and my neighbors and my grandmother from from everything, from the outside. That's why I go through my art, through the naivety of these children who tell the story, and through colors, impressionner,
Yeah,
et séduire,
impressionistic.
surtout, séduire.
Yeah,
Seduction, and then forget about direct things, because direct things maybe can put them in danger, and I don't want that my characters, all the parents, so that was the idea, to create artistic thing to protect my characters from the outside.
Can you talk about following up on the question about has it been seen in Morocco?
Release.
Le film, est-ce que
Yeah, we did some screening because of the rules of the academy, so the film should be screened in.
Right, and as you may know, it's been chosen as the official selection for Morocco for the Best International Film category at the Oscars, which is a great honor. So for part of that, it had to be screened.
Yeah, and also it's eligible for documentary.
Yes, and of course for documentaries.
That's why a film should be released, but it was a small release. I am waiting for Marrakesh Film Festival. The film is selected, and I'm really excited to screen it. It will be the first one to the audience, to the big audience, and I will let you know.
Okay. I think there may have, yes.
Can you talk more about the practice or habit your grandma had of burning the photographs?
Brûler les photos,
Yeah, if you just watch this small sequence in the film, she tell why she has this problem with photos, because she had I will tell it in French, maybe you translate. No, great. Elle a eu les jumeaux et ils sont morts parce que le grand-père, il a compris que les deux jumeaux ils sont morts parce qu'il a été photographié. Donc elle a photographié les deux jumeaux, après 3 jours ils sont morts. Elle a mis dans la fenêtre pendant 3 jours pour la torturer parce qu'il croit que c'était à cause de la malédiction des photos. Donc c'est à partir de ce jour-là, il n'aime pas les photos.
Elle a eu des jumeaux comme des...
Oui, elle les a pris en photo pour les souvenirs, mais ils sont morts.
So she had if I'm understanding right, she had twin boys,
Boys.
Who died at the age of 3, and they had been photographed, and her husband felt that this was sort of a malediction, that because they were photographed, this had kind of put a curse on them.
Yeah, sorry, they died after 3 days.
Oh, I'm sorry, 3 days.
So the grandfather, my grandfathers understand that it was the malediction of these photos. That's why they did. So he put her exhaust. She was really tortured by him, and from this moment she didn't like photos, and then she forbidden photos in the house because he treated her very bad. But the problem, because she was only 12 years old, she was married in 12 years, and if she lose the babies was because she was a child.
Oh my goodness.
No, sorry for that, but it was it was in the film.
That's extraordinary.
But today things are changed. Today we have no children that they can maybe be married at 12. But in the past was like that.